Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Are you a survivor of abuse or other trauma? Are you tired of feeling stuck, silent, and stressed all the time? This is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with more inner peace and joy. Are you ready to eliminate suffering from your life and transform from a survivor to thriver? Then congratulations, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show. Hey, last episode, things got a little intense for me. I was talking about my experience of going through the self-defense class and the impact it had on me. And, when I got to the point of, the memory of my final exam for that class and the scenario that I had been given, which was like literally my worst nightmares are coming to life, being told to, lie down and pretend I was sleeping and then I'd be attacked. And I was attacked and then asked to defend myself, in that position, in that very scenario. And it had been a while since I thought about that time, that moment, and it just really hit me in this intense way that I didn't expect, and it totally took me by surprise. And after I was done recording that episode, I really had to take a break and just take some time to, look in my heart and make sure that I was okay and check in to see what I needed to do to take care of myself and just do it. And you know what? This is just one of the realities of healing from trauma, that even after sometimes it's been years and you think you're doing just fine, something happens, some memory gets triggered, and you can find yourself back, into like this feeling of being in crisis again, or, just getting hit in a really intense way by those memories. And you're like, oh my God, I thought I'd already dealt with this. I thought I was over this. What's wrong with me? But you know what? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just part of how it is. This is just part of how it is. It's how our psychology works and functions. And one of the best things that we can do when something like this happens is to understand that, this is a totally normal, natural reaction, that there is nothing wrong with us for feeling this way, and, to be really kind with ourselves and be really patient and loving with ourselves, just as we would be if someone we loved found themselves having this kind of an experience. So that's what I did for myself, and here I am, happy to be back with you. And you know what? Another reason I'm really happy today is because we're getting to a point in my story where I'm starting to move away more and more from just surviving to really starting to thrive in my life, right? And that is just a great place to be. It's a great, 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 great place to be, right? Because more and more you begin to feel that sense of aliveness, and more you begin to live with actual happiness and joy in your life, So it's awesome. Yay! Okay, so enough with that part of the reflection. Let's move on. Let me do a super quick recap of where we left the story, or where we are in the story, before I move on. Okay, so by this point in time, I'm about 20 years old. My family has already moved to America, and I've already started college. I've already achieved a number of major healing breakthroughs. And because of that, I'm starting to break down the walls and break through the silence that I had sort of hid myself behind for the last 12 or so years in the aftermath of surviving the child sexual abuse. And as I am breaking down these walls and breaking through the silence, and I'm starting to see all these people around me, and I'm feeling and wanting to connect with them and allow them to connect with me, I find myself really struggling to actually make it happen, because in the last 12 years, I've been so alone for so long that I really forgot how to build and maintain healthy relationships. I forgot how to make friends and hang out with people in like a normal, casual kind of way. And I remember, like, there were times when there would be somebody that I really liked, and I wanted to, sort of connect with them, and I found myself like just sitting and thinking about, oh gosh, if I go up to this person, what should I talk to them about? What can I talk to them about? What can we do together? And I had to really think about it and plan these things ahead in my mind, because I just was at such a loss on how to make it happen. And now, here's the thing. So, because I was all into being like water, right? I'd learned that teaching, and I was working on applying that in my life. So when you're being like water, it's like whenever you come across a challenge or a hurdle that you find yourself unable to break through or deal with in a direct way, you just kind of flow around it, okay, and find an alternate route so that you can keep moving on and your progress isn't stopped. So what I had to do was stop focusing on the challenge, right, and start to focus on the solutions. So my challenge was I wanted to connect with people, but I struggled to figure out what to say, what to do. So the solution I figured out was, okay, well, if I stop focusing on me and I just kind of shift my focus to helping others, to volunteering my time and my energies into helping other people, helping other causes, then they get to set the agenda and I just get to respond, right? So for example, one of the very first ways in which I began to implement this plan was I joined a number of different clubs on campus. One of the very first clubs that I joined was the Eco Action Club, and it was all about environmental sustainability. And so I would just show up to these meetings, to the club meetings, and I would be there every time. I'd get there usually before time, and I'd stay there all the way until the very end. So before very long, people got used to seeing me there. And I would usually sit in one of the back corners of the meeting room, but that was fine. The important thing was that I was there. And you know what? For the first so many weeks that I started going to the club, I used to just sit there and listen. And pretty much the only time I might talk was when somebody actually asked me a question or asked me to speak up. And that was fine too, you know what? Because, hey, at least I was there, and at least I was speaking up when I was asked to, which was something that I hadn't even done that much before. So, hey, little steps, right? It's what can I do? I'm not going to worry about what I can't do or what I'm struggling to do. It's focus on what I can do and just do it and celebrate when I actually manage to do it, right? So that's so important, to celebrate the little wins that we have and to appreciate the little wins that we have. So the other thing that I started to do as I sat through week after week in these club meetings was when they would ask for volunteers to take on different responsibilities for different tasks, I would raise my hand. And I began to volunteer to do more and more of the things, take on more and more of the responsibilities. And this, again, it's just part of, building this really good momentum. Because what started happening then was that as I took on these responsibilities and I started, fulfilling them, I started to receive more and more positive feedback from my fellow club members and from our advisors, and feedback in terms of they're just appreciating my presence, appreciating my contributions in the work that I was doing, and appreciating the quality of the results that I was producing. And as I received this positive feedback from them, it actually also helped to build up my own sense of self-esteem. It helped me to appreciate myself more. It taught me to value myself more and value my skills and my abilities more and value myself in terms of, hey, you know what? I can make positive contributions to other people's lives. I am making positive contributions to other people's lives, and things like that. So not only by focusing on helping others was I helping myself in terms of starting to build these healthy new relationships in my life, I was also starting to heal my relationship with myself. I had spent so long subjecting myself to all kinds of drama in terms of a lot of blaming and shaming and, all the guilt trips that I laid on myself that really impaired my relationship with myself too, right? So now, by focusing on helping others, I was actually starting to heal my relationship with myself too. And that was really, really, really awesome. Because, hey, we are naturally social creatures. We're not meant to be alone, And it's a very basic human need for us to not only be cared for, but to also care for others, to not only love, but also be loved. And now I was starting to participate in both sides of that equation, right? And when your basic needs are being met like this, you get positive feedback from your inner self, from your heart and mind. You feel happy, you feel more peaceful, you feel more joyful. So I was making great progress that way. And now, oh my gosh, look at that. We are out of time for today. So let's pick up from right here tomorrow in our next episode. And in the meanwhile, I wish you lots of peace and joy. And I want to remind you once again to connect with me because I love to hear from you. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com and connect with me. I look forward to hearing from you soon.